Welcome to our Q&A series about chickens. Today we are going to discuss how to adopt safely chickens in the time of avian influenza. So you've all heard about bird flu or highly pathogenic avian influenza. This is a very highly contagious disease that is often fatal to birds. It unfortunately became endemic in the world. In the US, it affected, and when I say affected, it killed more than 168 million birds. And those birds were mainly coming from egg or meat farms because we put them in such a confined environment. All the states have been affected. Here is a map, and you can see that California is among the most affected states. So now the question is, how do we avoid bringing that disease, or for that matter, any disease, to your current flock? Well, you have to quarantine the new birds. The easiest way is you get your bird from a place, a shelter or a sanctuary that can quarantine the birds for you. And you have to trust them, you have to ask them how is their quarantine, how long they kept them. If you do that, then you could integrate your birds pretty fast with your flock. If you cannot adopt them from such a trusted place, then you have to do the quarantine yourself. When I talk about quarantine, we are talking about really 2 to 4 weeks isolation of the birds, and they are isolated from your resident birds. So you have to place them somewhere where there is no sight, no smell, no physical touch, like no aerosol access to the other birds. Ideally, there is no fly that can really go from one coop to the other one. The best case scenario is you have a garage. This is what we use. The picture here is our garage, and this is how we quarantine all the new birds at Chlorophyll. We put the cars outside, we put X-Pens, and we will keep the new birds for about 4 weeks there. You could, if you have a big property, maybe have a chicken coop on the other side of your house, far away from your resident house. That would work too. And oftentimes, the quarantine part is what stops adopters to welcome new birds, because they say, well, I don't have that much space. Well, you don't need a huge amount of space, and I'm going to show you different places where you can quarantine your birds. A laundry room is a perfect place. You want a place where it's super easy to clean, because chickens indoor are very messy. So having a tile floor is perfect. So this is our laundry room. We usually don't use it to quarantine so much than to put our sick birds there. A bathroom is another great place. Same thing. Usually there is an easy cleanable ground. And this is little Buttercup from Minnow and Blossom Micro Sanctuary. This is in our home. Both the garage and our laundry room were busy with other chickens, so that little girl is in our guest room, right? So this is the hardwood floor, same, easy to clean. And you've seen in all those rooms I'm showing you, there is always a little place where they can nest, where they can be safe, and that's usually a crate. This is a cat carrier in that case. And you always want, of course, water and food. Another possibility is those soft pen. This works well for one chickens because usually they are, pretty small, and when they're not super active. I like those because you can really put them wherever you want, in any room. Here you see I even added some gate so the dog would not come too close to her. The nice thing about those pens is, here the top is open, but you could close it. So it means you could even potentially bring her outside and no flies would be able to come and enter because flies are really a disease vector. So here are many places, you don't have to have a huge space. That little pen, for example, can go in the bedroom corner even if you wanted to. And the floor, because it's plastic, you could put that even on carpet. That's what the quarantine space could look like. The other thing, of course, is you are a vector of the disease. If you touch your new chickens and something comes on you and you go and hug your resident chickens, you potentially transmit the disease. So you have to be super careful Wash your hands, change your shoes for sure, because stepping on chicken poop is unavoidable and you don't want to bring anything from both coops. Ideally, you can put a new set of clothes between both coops. It's not very practical, so what I do is I have this scrub that I can put on my current clothes, and I just have to remove them. At a really minimum is wash your hands and change your shoes. While the chickens are in quarantine, this is the ideal time to do an health check. You pick them one by one, check them from beak to tail, check for any external parasite, do a fecal test, check if they have any respiratory difficulties and things like that. You may also want to do a prophylactic treatment, like delousing them, deworming them, so you're 100% sure that they will be fine. Of course, you want to wait for the fecal test result to come back and to see if you may have to do additional treatment. Once the quarantine period is over and your chickens are healthy, well, that is time to introduce them to your flock. And normally there is like 1 week visual introduction, and then hopefully everybody is getting along fine in the chicken yard.